Hi guys, this is my C programming language video. In this video we are going to introduce C and learn about the fundamental concepts of C. So C was developed by Dennis Ritchie at Bell Laboratory in 1972. C was basically developed for system designing. That is, it is used for developing operating system such as Unix operating system, and all the Unix application was at first written in C language. So C language was later evolved as a system development language because the code written in C language nearly run as fast as the code that is written in assembly language. C language is also called as a mother language because many syntaxes, basic concepts of C has been followed in the predecessor languages like C++, Java and C hash. Coming to features of C, what made C very much popular? Because C is very easy to learn. It is a structured language. It gives an efficient program, and it can handle low level activities very easily, and code written in C language on one computer can be easily portable to another computer with a minimal changes. These all features made C very much popular. So C languages are called by all these names. It is called as a mother language because many languages are derived from by these languages. It is called as a system programming language because all the hardware applications are written by C very efficiently, which what made the C popular. So it is called as system programming language. It is a procedure oriented language because a big problem is break down into smaller procedures, and each procedure has been handled to solve separate problems. That's what make C as a procedure oriented language. C is called as a structure oriented language because C divides the problem into the smaller structure blocks, and each block is handled efficiently by C. C becomes a middle level language because it binds the gap between high level and low level languages. C can be used for programming system applications as well as the application programs. So that's why it is a middle level programming language. Some examples where C is used are operating systems, language compilers, assemblers, text editors, network drivers, modern programs, databases, and language interpreters. These all can be developed by C language. One important point to note is that it is not an internet programming language. C is not an internet programming language like Java.NET and PHP. Coming to character set of C, so we are going to learn a language. So for learning a language, we have to learn the fundamental characters involved in the language. So C language has alphabets from small a to z and capital A to z, digits from 0 to 9, and special characters like tilde, at, star, hash, etc., and white space characters backslash b, backslash n, backslash t, backslash v, and backslash r. These each and everything have separate functions when they are written in C coding, which we will discuss in later session. These are all the characters which we can use to form a C language. Moving on to the next one, tokens. So as I have said, C language during the compilation breaks the entire program into small individual units. These each and every individual units are called as tokens, and tokens are written in a syntactical way. Each space and punctuation is also considered as a token. So the tokens, the tokens are made up of keywords, identifiers, constants, strings, special symbols, and operators. These all put together going to form a C program. We will discuss each and everything in further slides and in further videos. Moving on to next slide. Structure of C program. So this is our first C program. This is going to be a first basic C program. So first line is going to be a comment line. This comment line is for increasing the user readability, understandability, and it won't be printed on the output screen. And the next line is hash include stdio.h int main open curly printf hello everyone return 0 and close curly. So and this is going to be header file. This is main function, opening braces, and the braces has to be closed. Every braces that has to be that has opened has to be closed. This is closing braces. This is printf statement. This statement will be printed in the output screen. Return 0, that ends the program and returns the value back to the main function, and the output of our program is hello everyone. So the first line is a comment line. For giving a single line comment, you can use a double front slash. For giving multi-line comments, you can use a slash star, some comments within it, star and slash. This is used for defining multi-line comments. These comments are not compiled or executed, and they won't be printed in the output screen. Next line is hash include stdio.h, which is a preprocessor directive with which includes standard input output library files before compiling any C program. So these are nothing but this will give our program some standard input output operations to be done without defining them. Like printf and scanf, we can do it without defining them, because they are already defined in the library file stdio.h, which is a header file which is already written in the C program. So we can just call them by including them in this line. So we can use printf and scanf in our program as usual without any further coding for that. Int main function, this is an important function, and every program must have at least one main function. C program starts its execution from the main function. That is what is the main function, and opening braces, that indicates the beginning of the program, and coming inside the program we are having printf. These function only defined inside the header file. So we are defining the header file, so we can use this function without any definition. That is what is printf function. This inside the printf function, you can give whatever to be printed on the output screen. We are giving hello world, that will be printed on the output screen. And we can use getch function in our coding. This will help to hold this screen. And return 0, this command terminates the program, and return null to the user. And closing braces, that indicates the end of the function. Moving on to the next topic, keywords. So our C program is going to have keywords, lot of keywords. These keywords are the reserved words, and the meanings cannot be changed. The meanings are already defined by the compilers. They cannot be used as a normal variable names, which we can initialize, or we can so do something. They are reserved words, and each and every one have special purposes. There are 32 keywords in C, and they should be written only in lower cases. Some of the keywords are, see this example, include is a keyword, int is a keyword, main is a keyword, printf is a keyword, return is a keyword. These are all the keywords in C language. All these bold ones are keywords. Moving on to the next one, identifiers. Identifiers, this is what is the name which we are going to give for our variables, and we are going to operate with this. With these identifier names. So these identifiers are the names that is used to identify a variable or a function on any other user defined items. So these identifiers can be alphabet or a numeric character. Should begin with alphabet or an underscore. No special symbols or characters should be used. Only it should start with an alphabet or an underscore. You can have 53 alphabets, that is small a to z and capital A to z, and 10 digits, and it is case sensitive. Small a and capital A both are different. Both declarations are it is considered as a separate declarations, and it can accept 31 character length. So the variables can have maximum of 31 character length. And no comma or blank space is allowed within the identifier name. So identifiers should not be a keywords. Those keywords cannot be used in identifier declaration. That is the point. And here is the example for identifier declaration. Chennai _ Rama SW1 are the example of the identifiers. See this example. Hash include stdio.h int main open curly int. Here the variables are declared. Chennai _ Rama SW1, these are all the variable names that we are declaring. So by using this name, we can initialize the value, we can operate on this value, and we can perform anything whatever we want. So this should be only alphabets, and or can start with an underscore. No more special characters should be allowed. That's all about identifiers. Moving on to constants. Constants are representing the numeric or character value that do not change during the program execution. So constants means fixed values. The value remains same during the entire execution of the program. Constants are also called as literals. Constants can be any data type. Syntax for defining constants. Constants, data type, constant name. That is, before the variable declaration, you have to add a constant keyword. That is what the constant syntax is about. These constants are of two types, numeric constants and integer character constants. These numeric constants are divided as integer constants and real constants, and the character constants are divided as single character constants and string constant. First is integer constants. Integer constant means it should be a whole number. It should not have any decimal point. You can be you can introduce, or you can write either positive or negative number. No comma or blank space are allowed while writing the constants. If no sign is given for your number, then the number is considered as a positive number. So the range allowed for the integer constant is -327682 to 32767. Coming to real constants, real constant means numbers, whole numbers with a decimal point. So it can be either positive or negative, and here also if no sign is before the number, then it is considered as a positive number, and no commas or blank spaces are allowed within the real numbers. Coming to character and string constants, character constants are the character constants in C are declared by having only one character within single quotes. String constant can be defined as some number of words within double quotes. That is going to be string constant. Backslash character constants means backslash characters. Backslash b, backslash f, backslash n, backslash r. These are the backslash character constants. Each and everything have a separate function. When you write backslash b, it will create a backspace. Backslash n means it will create a new line. These are all the backslash character constants. So this is the example of constants. Integer constants, these are further classified as decimal integer constants, octal integer constant, and hexadecimal integer constant. Decimal integer constants, the whole numbers 1, 3, 7 or the whole numbers. Octal numbers means 0 precedes the number, then it is considered as an octal number. Hexadecimal number 0x followed by the number following the number, that means a hexadecimal number. So these numbers do not have any decimal point. These are all whole numbers. Coming to real constant, the example is 2.0, 2.15. So the if no sign precedes, it is considered as a positive. If sign precedes, it is a negative. So these are some of the real constants. Coming to character constants, single character within single quotes or character constants. This is how you have to initialize your characters in C. String constant has to be declared in this way, declared and defined in this way. A group of characters within double quotes. So these are all the example of integer, real, character and string constants. Moving on to data types. So C provides various type of data types which allows the programmer to select the appropriate type of the variable to set its value. So what type of the data the value is going to hold is decided by this data type. For example, if a variable is going to have the number 1, then it is an integer data type. So we are going to add a keyword int before it. So that is what is data type is all about. So data types are used for finding the type of the variable, finding the type of the return value of the function, finding the type of the parameter expected by the function. Data types are classified as primitive data type, derived data type and user defined data type. Primitive data type are nothing but primary data types, basic data types, character, integer, float and void. These are the primary data types. And the data types that are derived from primary data types are derived data types. They can be signed or unsigned, long or short, depending upon the size and range of the variables. Signed char, signed short, signed int, signed long, unsigned char, unsigned short, unsigned int and unsigned long, long double. Some user defined data types are structure, union, enumeration and array, and a type definition also included here. These are all the user defined data types in C. First, moving on to integer data type. Integer means you can have integer numbers. It is going to occupy 2 bytes of memory. can be signed or unsigned, long or short, depending upon the nature and size of the number. So these are all the some integer numbers. So for defining them, you have to introduce int data type before the number. So 12 is declared as an integer data type. For character means it is going to occupy 1 byte of memory. It can be signed or unsigned depending on the range of and storage in the memory. So characters are declared as single character within single quotes, and the data type is since we are going to introduce the character, the data type you have to add is char data type has to be added. Floating means for float data type is used for declaring float numbers. It will occupy 4 bytes of memory. It can have single precision, that is after the decimal point you can have one digit. If you want to add 2 digits after the decimal point, then you can go for double. If you want to have many digits after the number, then you can go for extended precision, that is long double. This is extended precision. So see this example. For declaring the floating point numbers, we are using the float data type. For double numbers, we are using double data type. Long double numbers, we are using long double data type. So this is all about data type. Coming to user defined data type. Type definition is a user defined data type. This data type allows the user to create own data type which is equivalent to the existing data type. That is new name for the existing data type. So by using type definition in our code, we can create a new name for the existing data type. So here is the syntax for that. Type def data type identifier. So type def int age is the example here. So in this code we will clearly understand it. So type definition is a keyword that is used to add that you have to add before the variable declaration. So now age is created as a type definition data type. That means this age can act as an old data type and old data type. That is age can act as an int. So we are declaring and initializing another 2 variables by age. This specifies that these 2 are integers. That is what is type definition is used for. With there is no need to use int in this line for declaration, because age acts as a new name for the existing data type int. That is what is about type definition. Next is enumeration. Enumeration is nothing but you can invent your own data type and a set of values for that data types you have created, data type items you have created. For making it possible, you have to add enum keyword before the variable declaration. That is enum identifiers enumeration list. Example for that is enum month open curly Jan Feb up to December close curly semicolon. So if you declare above, then it will automatically create a new data type as month. So month is going to be our new data type which is being created, and the value will be allocated from January to December. That is 0 to 11 will be allocated. It will be defaultly start from 0. If you want to make it start from 1, you have to explicitly mention it as equal to 1. That is Jan equal to 1, you have to be explicitly mention it so that it will start from 1. So here is the enum data type declaration. See this in this code. Enum month Jan is equals to 1, Feb up to December. So we are explicitly giving the value for January 1. So it will be 1, it will be 2, and so on up till 12 will be assigned. And the value of February has been printed. So our output is 2. So new data type is month, values are allocated, and our output has been 2. So this is about enumeration data type. Moving on to variables. So C variables is named location in a memory. So variables are nothing but the names which we give for the value that is stored in the memory. C variables might be belonging to any type of data like integer, float or character. So rules for naming those variable is variable name must begin with a letter or an underscore. It is case sensitive, but it can be constructed with digits and letters. No special symbols are allowed. So here is the example of variable names. Sum, height, value, these are all the example of variable names. So how to declare those variables and how to initialize those variables. These variables are very important because we are going to perform the operation or anything with the help of these variables. So how to declare those variables? Nothing but data type variable name x, y, z. This is the variable declaration, integer variable declaration. Char flat comma ch, this is the character variable declaration. Variable initialization, you are going to give value for those variables. How it can be possible? By the help of assignment operator. Syntax is data type variable name is equals to value. Example is int x is equals to 50, y equal to 30. Char flag is equals to single quotes x, ch is equals to single quotes l. So variables are classified as constant and volatile variable. Constant variables are the variables that value cannot be changed throughout the entire execution of the program. To make the variable declaration as a constant, add constant keyword before the variable declaration or initialization. That is the syntax. Here is the example, constant int x is equals to 7. Coming to volatile variables, can be changed at any time by the function in which it is present. So volatile means you can change the value at any time. To make it possible, you have to add volatile keyword before the variable declaration or initialization. Volatile, data type, variable, declaration or initialization. By default, it is the variable declaration is considered as an volatile. That is one important point to note. And here is the example of volatile declaration. Volatile int 0 is equals to 100. Sorry, volatile int o is equals to 100. So this is the example of volatile declaration. So here is the example code for variable declaration and initialization. Hash include std int main open curly. Here we are declaring the variables float variable, float f. This total thing is called as a variable declaration. F is equals to 9.0, which is an variable initialization, and we are declaring another declaring and initializing another variable a as a constant, and declaring and initializing another variable as a volatile, and the value is assigned for them. Finally returning 0, and we are ending the program here. This is all about variables in the C. So thanks for watching this video. Please watch the next video to know about operators in C. Please like and subscribe the video. Thank you. Hi guys, this is my C programming language concept video. In this video we are going to learn about operators and input and output in C. Moving on to the first line. Operators are the symbols which are used to perform logical and mathematical operation in C program. Operators join individual constants and variables to form expression. Operators, functions, constants and variables are combined together to form expression. Coming to the example, a plus b star 5. This is an expression. Here plus and star are the operators, a and b are the variables, 5 is constant. Whole together it is called as an expression. Types of operators in C. Arithmetic operator, assignment operator, relational operator, logical operator, bitwise operator, conditional operator, which is also called as ternary operator, increment decrement operator and special operator. We can discuss each and everything. First moving on to arithmetic operator. Arithmetic operator in C. Arithmetic operator are used to perform mathematical calculations like addition, subtraction, multiplication, division and modulus in C program. So plus addition, minus subtraction, star is for multiplication, slash division, modulo is for performing modulo operation. This modulo means division operation is performed on the two variables a and b, and the remainder is going to be the result of the modulo operation. Here is the sample code. Hash include stdio.h int main open curly. We are declaring and initializing two variables a and b as 9 and 4, and another variable is declared as c. Here arithmetic operator plus is arithmetic operation is performed on the two variables a and b, and it is stored in C. So this is getting printed here. An arithmetic subtraction operation is performed on the two operands a and b, and it is stored in C, and which is getting printed here. So a plus a minus b, which is 9 minus 4, which is 5, and similarly a star b, which is multiplied and stored in C. A divided by C, division operation is performed and the value is stored in C, and modulo operation is performed here and the value is stored in C, and which is being printed in the output with the help of this printf statement. So next operator is assignment operator. This assignment operator is used for assigning the value of the variable to another variable. There are two categories of assignment operator in C language. They are simple assignment operator, which is equal to compound assignment operators, plus equal to, minus equal to, star equal to, slash equal to, modulo equal to, and equal to, or equal to. These are the compound assignment operators. Here are the example and description for the assignment operators. Equal to, sum equal to 10 means the value 10 is assigned to sum. Sum plus equal to 10, which means that this is same as sum is equals to sum plus 10. This is getting expanded as sum is equals to sum plus 10. Sum minus equal to 10 means sum is equals to sum minus 10. Sum is subtracted from 10 and the value gets stored in sum. Sum star is equals to 10 means sum is equals to sum star 10. It is multiplied and the value is stored in sum. And now similarly for division, modulo, ampersand and or is performed. Let us see this in sample code. Hash include stdio.h int main open curly int a equal to 5 c. So two variables are declared and a is assigned with the value 5. C is equals to a. Now the value 5 is assigned to c. Now c becomes 5. This here we have used assignment operator, simple assignment operator. Now the value is printed on the screen. Next statement is c plus is equals to a, which is expanded as c is equals to c plus a. So 5 plus 5, that is going to be 10. Output 10 is printed with the help of this line. Moving on to minus equal to operator, c is equals to c minus a. C minus a, 10 is subtracted with the 5 and the value will become 5, which is getting printed on the screen. Moving on to the next operator, c star is equals to a, which is expanded as c is equals to c star a. So 5 into 5, which is 25, that is being stored in c and printed on the screen. C slash is equals to a. Now c is divided by a. C is 25. 25 divided by 5, which is going to be 5, that is getting stored in c. And now moving on to modulo operation, c modulo equal to a, which is expanded as c is equals to c modulo a. So modulo operation is performed. 5 is divided by 5. The remainder is going to be 0, that is getting printed on the output screen with the help of this printf statement. This is the end of the assignment operator. Moving on to logical operator. Logical operators are used to perform logical operations on the given expression. There are three logical operators in C language. They are logical AND, logical OR and logical NOT. Logical AND operator. Logical AND operator which evaluates both sides of the expression, and if both sides are true, the value is going to be true. Otherwise, it is going to return a false result. Logical OR operator. If any of the side of the expression is true, the condition is going to be true. At least one should be true to get the result as true. In the case of OR operator. NOT operator, that is going to evaluate the entire expression and that result is just complemented. Suppose the result is true, it is complemented with the help of this NOT operator, it is going to become a false. Let us see this in our coding. Hash include stdio.h int main open curly int a equal to 5, b equal to 5, c equal to 10 and result. Three variables are declared. Result is used for storing the values after performing this calculation. Result is equals to a equal to b. Here we are comparing a with b. Double equal to operator. So the condition is true. It is going to be the value. Result is going to be 1. And this side, c is greater than b, condition true. 10 is greater than 5, condition true. So 1. So both sides are true. Then AND operator is going to return the result as a true value, which is 1. And in another case for a logical AND, a equal to b, condition is true. C is less than b, condition is false. If one thing is false, and logical AND operator is used to will return the result as 0. logical OR operator. A equal to B, condition becoming true. C is less than B, condition becoming false. At least one thing is true. Logical OR operator returns the result as 1. Next scenario. A not equal to B, condition is false. C is less than B, condition is false. If both sides are false, then OR operator will produce the result as 0. Moving on to logical NOT operator. A not equal to B, condition is false. So it is complemented with the help of this NOT outside. So the result is going to be 1. A equal to B, condition is true. This is complemented. The result is going to be 0. This is the end of the logical operator. Next, moving on to bitwise operator in C. These operators are used to perform bit operations. Decimal values are converted into binary values, which are sequence of bits, and bitwise operators work on these bits. So, your decimal number is converted into bits, and bitwise operator operates on those bits. The operations are performed on those bits. Here are some of the bitwise operators: bitwise AND, bitwise OR, bitwise NOT, XOR, left shift and right shift. Bitwise AND operator. The output of the bitwise AND operator is 1 only when both two operands is 1. In C programming, bitwise AND operator is denoted by one ampersand. That is this ampersand. Here is a sample example. Two decimal numbers which are converted in binary form, and the bit or bitwise comparison is performed. 0 is compared to 0, this 0 is compared to this 0, this 0 is compared to this 0, this 0 is compared to this 1, and 1 is compared to 1. So here we have 1 and 1. If both operands has 1, then the result is going to be 1. So we are getting 1 on the 5th position, and remaining or else all the bits are 0. So it is converted as a decimal equivalent, which is our decimal equivalent is 8. That is our output of the bitwise AND operation. Here is the code how to perform bitwise AND operation. Two variables are declared and initialized. Bitwise AND operation is performed, and the decimal output is printed on the screen. That is 8. Next, moving on to bitwise OR operator. The output of the bitwise OR operator is 1 if at least one corresponding bit of the two operand is 1. In case C programming, bitwise OR operator is denoted by a single pipeline. So at least one bit has to be 1 to get the result as 1. Here are the two decimal numbers that are converted into binary form. Bitwise comparison is performed. If at least one operand is 1, the result we are going to get it as 1, and that number is that bits are converted into the decimal equivalent, which is going to be 29. Here is the sample code for printing bitwise OR output. A is equals to 12, B is equals to 25. Bitwise OR operation is performed on A and B, and the output is printed as a decimal number, which is 29. Next, moving on to bitwise XOR operator. The result of the bitwise XOR operator is 1 if the corresponding bits of the two operands are opposite. It is denoted by a cap. So, the result is going to be 1 only when we have two complemented operands, that is 0 1 or 1 0. Otherwise, in other cases, the XOR will return the result as 0. Here are the two decimal numbers 12 and 25. Bitwise comparison is performed. If 0 and 0 is compared, it is going to be 0. 0 and 0 and compared, it is going to be 0. 0 0, it is going to be 0. 0 and 1, the result is 1. 1 and 1, the result is 0. 1 and 0, the result is 1. It is again 0, and here it is 1. So the decimal equivalent is 21. This is the output of bitwise XOR operation. Here is the code to explain bitwise XOR. Hash include stdio.h int main open curly int a equal to 12, b equal to 25. In printf statement, we are XORing the bit a, XORing the operands a and b, and the decimal output is getting printed to the user, which is 21. Bitwise left shift and right shift operator. This bitwise left shift operator that is used for shifting the bits to the left by one place. This bitwise right shift operator that is used for shifting the x by one bit to the right. suppose if x and y are the two operands, then left shift x by y bits, which implies, which can be solved as x into 2 power y. This x has to be multiplied with 2 power of y, which is going to be the result of this x left shift y. If you want to right shift x by y bits, then you can divide x by 2 power y, which this will give the some decimal result. That will be the output of this right shift operation. Here is the decimal number 40. X is converted into binary. Left shift x by 1 bit means this is another one method. This is one method of solving left shift and right shift. This is another method, that is adding zeros. Left shift one by 1 bit. So if left shift means 0 is added to the right side, and at front 1 0 is left out. Now the obtained output is converted back to the decimal. This is going to be the output of the left shift operation. Right shift means the bits 0 is added to the left side, and at the right side one digit is left out, and the remaining binary form is converted into the decimal. That is going to be the output of the right shift operator. So here is the sample code. We are declaring x is equals to 40. Now we are performing left shift on 40 by 1 bit, and right shift is also performed, and the result is displayed as a decimal digit as 80 and 20. Moving on to next operator, conditional or ternary operator. Conditional or ternary operator returns 1 if the condition is true, and returns another value if the condition is false. This operator is also called as a ternary operator. Here is the syntax for conditional operator: condition, question mark, true value, colon, false value, close bracket, semicolon. Here is an example. If a value is greater than 100, the output is going to be 1, else the output is going to be 0. Here is the sample code: hash include stdio.h int main open curly int a equal to 900. So a is assigned with 900. So now the a is greater than 100, condition becomes true, so the value is going to be 1, the output is 1. That is the end of the conditional operator. Moving on to input and output in C. So as we all know, there are 3 essential functions of the computer. What are they? Reading, processing, and writing data. So majority of the program takes data as the input, and after processing the processed data that is being displayed, this displayed data is called as information. So for this information to be created, C uses formatted IO functions and unformatted IO functions. Formatted IO functions means it reads the character from the input file, and formatted input reads the character from the input file and converts them to the internal form. Formatted output converts the binary representation of the data to ASCII characters, which is written back to the output file. These formatted function is performing the conversion operation. First, the characters are read and they are converted into the binary form and stored back in the file. Then for outputting, it reads the binary form and it is converted back into the ASCII values, ASCII characters, and the output is displayed to the user. These formatted functions improve the readability of the input and output very much. These formatted functions can be used to read any type of data: character, integer, float, and double. Formatted input-output function require format specifiers like %C for character, %D for decimal, %F for float, %LF for long double, and %LF for long double. These are some common and mostly used format specifiers. These format specifiers are used to specify the type of value that we are going to read. Unformatted IO functions. Unformatted input-output function transfer the internal binary representation of data directly between memory and file. Here, no such conversions are performed like formatted function. These unformatted console input-output function are used to read single input from the user at the console, and it also allows us to display the value in the output to the user at the console. Mostly, these unformatted IO functions are used for getting and throwing only character values, not any other data types. Here is the console input-output function categories: formatted and unformatted. Formatted function can allows us to input any type of data like character, integer, float, and string. For that, we are using scanf and printf. These two are the formatted input-output functions. Coming to unformatted input-output functions, that is basically used for character and string input-output. Some of the functions used for that are getch, getche, getchar, putch, putchar, gets and puts, etc. So we can see everything in detail. Scanf function. This function is used to get the value from the keyboard. We pass the format specifier in which format we want to take the input. So the scanf function basically used for getting the input from the user. And since it is a formatted input-output function, we have to specify the format specifier. So this is going to be our syntax for scanf. Scanf format specifier, variable names. If you want to go for multiple variable scanning, then you can go for second syntax: format specifier list, ampersand variable name list. One important thing to note is that if you are going to scan integer or a character or any type, you have to write address of operator before the variable name list. For string alone, this address of operator is not needed for scanf. Not needed during scanf. Okay, here is the sample code: hash include stdio.h int main open curly. Here a character array has been declared and two integer variables has been declared. Now you are asked to enter the value. The values are now scanned. For the first syntax example is here, that has been commented, which so it won't be printed on the output screen. Scanf %d, address of k. So here the variable k has been scanned. And in the next case, scanf %s %d, two variables we are scanning. This is the example for the second syntax. Name is getting scanned and another integer value is getting scanned, and that values that are scanned are printed by the help of this printf statement, and the program is getting closed. Here is the user output 7, 7, 7, and you entered 7 and 7. Okay. Moving on to printf, this function is used to print text as well as the value of the variable on the standard output device. So printf function is used to print the text message, and you can also print the variable values as an output. Here are the two syntaxes for that: printf message within double quotes, printf message plus format specifier, variable list. See the code here. Int I is equals to 10. In first case, we are just printing some text. In second case, we are printing the variable value. The variable value is 10, that is being printed with the help of this printf statement. Next, moving on to unformatted input-output function, getch, that reads the single character from the user at the console without echoing it. So a getch function is used to read a character, that is single character. Syntax for that is variable name is equals to getch. Next, putch. This writes the single character from the console to the user. So putch function is used for writing the character, displaying the character to the user. Syntax for that is putch of variable name. Getchar, this is same as getch, reads the single character from the user at the console and echoing it, but it needs the enter key to be pressed. When you press the letter to be scanned, it just press it, it is just printed one more time, that is called echoing. One more time and wait, and it will wait for the enter key to be pressed to so as to end the reading process. For that it will be waiting. Here is the syntax for the getChar. Variable name is equals to getChar. PutChar writes the single character from the console to the user. This is used to write the single character, display the single character. PutChar of variable. Here is the syntax. Here is the example code. Hash include stdio.h int main char c printf enter the character. Here using getChar we are getting the character and we are storing it on C, and you entered PutChar C, that C character is being printed and the program gets closed. Enter a value, T is entered, you have entered T. Okay, that's all. Next, moving on to getCH. GetCH are used to read the single character from the keyboard, similar to getChar. No need return key to terminate the reading of the character. We have seen before that we need enter key to be pressed so that it will know the end of the reading session. But in this case of getCH, there is no need for enter key to be pressed. That is the difference here. It is also used for reading a single character. Syntax for that is ch is equals to getCH. Ch is nothing but variable name. Variable name is equals to getCH. Here is the sample code. Char ch, enter the character. Ch is equals to getCH. We are getting the character and storing it in the variable ch, and you have entered. We are printing that by the help of putch, that is being printed on the screen. So T is entered and you are printing back the T as an output to the user with the help of putch function. Next, moving on to gets. Gets function that is used to read single string entered by the user at the console. It is used for reading string. Gets argument. Puts write the output as a string. Puts argument is the syntax. Here is the sample code. Hash include stdio.h int main open curly char str. Here the character array is been declared for reading the string. Printf enter the value. We are getting the string with the help of this gets string. You are entered puts str. We are printing the string to the user. So here is the output. Enter the value. This is test. You have entered. This is test. So this is the end of the unformatted input and output. So thanks for watching this video. To know more about C, please watch the next video. That video is about statement in C. Please, thank you. Hi guys, this is my C programming concept video. In this video we are going to see about statements in C. Statements are nothing but program lines that carry out some function. There are three types of function in C: expression, compound and control statements. Moving on to expression statement. Expression statement are nothing but it represents a single data item, usually numbers. These expression statement can be constant or variable, or it is a joined form of constant and variables with the help of operators. So expression can return either true or false value. Expression can the result of the expression is usually the integer value, that is 1 or 0. These are the simple examples of simple expression statement: a plus b, x is equals to y, t equal to u plus v, x is less than or equal to y plus plus j. Next, moving on to compound statement. Compound statements are nothing but a group of simple statements within the braces. This entire thing is called as a compound statement. The statements within the compound is executed from beginning to end. Next, moving on to control statement. Control statements are the statements that will execute the statement until the specific condition is met. It can execute statement any number of time. So some of the compound statements are if statement, if else statement, switch statement, conditional operator statement, or the control statements. First, coming to if else statement. If condition becomes false, the statement will this statement within this if will be executed. Else, if has been failed, then in that case else will be executed. Here is the sample code. A is declared as 10. If using the if we are checking the condition, if a is less than 20, condition becomes true, so a is less than 20 will be printed. In that if If loop has failed, then else part will be executed. Finally, we are entering the value the user have entered and ending the program here. Next, moving on to if else syntax. This if else part is usually present between the if and else. Here is the sample code. A is 10. Here first A is less than 20 is checked. If condition becomes true, this statement will be executed. Else if this condition will be checked. If this becomes true, this will be executed. If this also failed, then else part will be executed. Since you have entered number 10, which is less than 20, this statement is printed, and the value you are asking the user entered has been finally printed, and the program gets entered here. This is else if program. Now moving on to multiple else if. Multiple else if means within if and else you can have as many if else as possible. Here we have having 2 if elses. You can have many if elses as possible. Here is a sample code for multiple if else. Hash include std1 int main open curly int a equal to 100. If 100 is equals to 10, the value within the statement within this is printed. If this failed, then this is failed. So coming to here, 100 equal to 20, condition is failed. Again another if else is checked. 100 equal to 30. This is also failed. So finally coming to the else part, none of the value is matching. That is going to be our output, and the value you have entered has been printed, which is 100. Sorry. So this is the end of multiple if else. Moving on to switch statement. Switch statement or nothing but it is a multiple control statement. It contains all the cases from 1 to 1000. To search a particular case, you no need to search from first to last. It will simply match the case. If none of the case matches, default case will be executed. Here is the syntax for switch. Switch condition. Case 1, case 2, case 3, case 4. 4 cases has been here. If none of the cases match the value you have declared, then default statement will be executed. Here is a sample code for switch. Hash include std1 int main open curly. You have declared your character variable as b. In switch you are passing the input as a grade. If the grade is equal, matches any of the cases of any of the case grade. If case is a, if the grade is A, excellent will be printed. B or C, well done will be printed. If it is D, you passed is printed. If it is F, better try again will be printed. If none of the grades matches, default will be printed. Since you have passed B as the input, the well done will be the output of your switch case, and finally using this printf statement, you are printing the value the user have entered. This is the end of switch case. Moving on to looping statements. Looping statements are the statements that execute one or more statements repeatedly several number of times. So C programming language, there are 3 types of looping statement: while, for and do while. So why do we use loop? We need to execute a block of code several number of times. They need looping concept in C language. So advantages of looping is it reduces the length of code, takes less memory, burden on the developer is reducing, time consuming process to execute the program is being reduced. So coming to types of loop: while, for and do while. First moving on to while loop. While loop will first check the condition. If the condition becomes true, it will it will execute the loop body, and the value is incremented, and again the condition is checked, and until the condition becomes false, the body of the loop a body of the loop will be executed. Once the condition becomes fail, while loop has been exited. So here is a flow chart for while loop. So first we are at the top. First you have to initialize. After initialization, now you are entering the condition has been checked. If it is false, the process is ended. If the condition becomes true, the loop body is executed and it is iterated, and the loop execution is continued until the condition becomes false. Here is the sample code for while loop. Hash include std1 int main open curly int a equal to 10. While 10 is less than 20, printf the 10. Printf the value of a. So the condition becomes true, value of a is printed, and now we are incrementing the value. So the value is going to be 11. So the loop is continued. 11 is less than 20, value is printed, again incremented until 90. This operation will continue. When the value become 20, the condition is going to become being failed, so while loop is ended and the program gets stopped execution, and the output will be printed to the user. For loop, which is similar to while loop, only difference is initialization is also done within this within this braces: initialization, condition, and incrementation. If the condition becomes true, the loop body is executed, then incrementation is done. Variable is initialized. You are entering the if condition. The condition is failed, program is entered. If the condition becomes true, loop body is executed, incrementation is performed, and the loop continues. Here is the code for loop. Here you have declared a variable a as an integer data type. For a equal to 10, a is less than or equal to 20, a plus plus. That is being expanded here. Nothing to confuse here. So a is declared as 10. So condition is checked now. 10 is less than 20. Condition becomes true. The value is printed. Now again the loop is incremented. Value condition is checked. Condition becomes true. 11 will be printed. This will happen until 19. When it becomes 20, the for loop is going to be failed, and it will go out of the for loop, and the program gets ended. Do while loop. Do while loop is similar to while loop, but one difference is that it will print the body of the loop at least once, and then only will check the condition. Here is the syntax for do while loop. Do open curly, loop body, close the bracket, while condition. First the body enter the do, and body is executed once, then only we are checking the condition here. Here is the flowchart for do while loop. Initialize the variable, enter the loop body and print it at least once, and then the condition is checked. If failed, end. Otherwise loop will be running until the condition fails. Here is the sample code for do while loop. Hash include std int main open curly int a equal to 10. You are entering do open curly printf, enter the value of a. 10 is getting printed and the value is incremented. It will become 11. Now 11 is less than 20. Condition is true, so the do while will be continued. 11 will be printed, and now it will become 12. 12 is less than 20. Condition become true. 12 will be printed. 13 incrementation is done. 13. This will go on until 19. 19 is printed. Now the value is going to become 20. 20 is less than 20. Condition is false. It will exit the do while loop, and now return 0, and the program gets exited. Moving on to loop control statements. Loop control statements change the execution of the program. Program order has been changed by this loop control statements. Execution leaves the scope, and all the automatic objects that have created in the loop are destroyed. Here are some of the loop control statements. Break, continue, go to are the 3 loop control statements that we commonly use in C. First, break statement terminates the loop or a switch statement and transfer the execution to the statement immediately following the loop or the switch. Uses of break in loops. So here we have used break in for loop. Here is a sample for we are using break in a do while loop. Here is a sample for using break in while loop. Let us discuss in detail in coding. Hash include std int main open curly int a equal to 10 while a is less than 20. If 10 is less than 20, condition becomes true, so 10 will be printed. A will be incremented, so it is going to be 11. 11 is greater than 15. Condition is false. So again coming to while loop, 11 will be printed, 12 will be printed, 14 will be printed, 13 will be printed, 14 will be printed. Now it is incremented and the value becomes 15. When the value becomes 15, 15 greater than 15, condition becomes for 15 greater than 15 condition becomes false. So condition becomes 15 greater than 15, condition becomes false, so value is incremented, and value is going to be printed. Now the value becomes 16. When 16 greater than 15, condition becoming false, if it will enter the if loop, and you have specified break here. So we when the value is 16, break out of the loop. That is what the break will be used for. It will terminate the loop and break out of the loops. It will exit the while loop. So the value until 15 will be printed. That is the code for printing the value from 10 to 15. The condition of if will be getting true when the value of a becomes 16. Nothing to confuse here. Moving on to continue, the causes the loop to skip the remainder of its body and immediately retest its conditions prior to reiterating. Here are some examples of continue statement. Continue statement is used to take the control back to the beginning of the loop. That is what the continue is used for. Here are the samples for how we are using continue in for, while and do while loop. We are using within here, within the while loop here, within the do while loop here. Here is the sample code. We are initializing a as 10 in a do loop. Now we are entering a is equal to, if a is equal to 15, condition becomes false. So you are printing the value of a as 10 and you are incrementing a here. Now so it is going to become 11. 11, so 11 is less than 20, condition becomes true, so the do while is again going to be executed. 11 is equal to, condition becomes false. Now the value of a getting printed at 12 and a is incremented until the value will be executed until 14. When the value of a becomes 15 equal to 15, so the here it enters the if loop, the value becomes incremented as 16. Since we have mentioned continue as the next line, this will take the transfer the control to the beginning of the do while loop. So what we are going to have is, we are going to print the value 16. 15, the printing of 15 has been skipped. Transfer the control to the beginning of the loop. 15 is going to be skipped and the remaining is going to be executed until the value of this condition becomes false. This is the usage of continue in do while loop. Go to statement. Go to statement is used to transfer the control to the labeled statement. If you have specified go to some label, then it will go to that. It will leave all the statements after that, after the specified, and will jump directly to the labeled which you have mentioned, and that statement will be executed. Here is the sample code. Hash include std1 int main open curly int a equal to 10. Here is the label loop. Do open curly if a equal to 15, a equal to a plus 5 go to loop. Printf a plus plus. So first a is 10, condition becomes if condition becomes false, so the coming here 10 will be printed, value will be incremented, it is going to be 11. 11 is less than 20, condition becomes true. Here it is again failed, so 11 is going to be printed. 12, it is incremented as 12. 12 is less than 20, condition becomes false. 12 equal to 15, condition failed. 12 is getting printed, as incremented as 13, condition false. 13 is not equal to 15, so condition false. 14 is printed and incremented to 15. 15 is less than 20, condition becomes true. So so when it is 15 equal to 15, condition becomes true, it will enter the if loop, and the value of a is incremented as 16, and next line we have mentioned as go to loop. So it will take the transfer the control to the beginning of the loop, that is the control will go over here. Now it will again enter the loop, the value with the value of 16. 16 equal to 16, 16 equal to 15, condition false, then 16 is printed. So the 15 here is being skipped by this go to statement. That is the use of go to here. and the value of a will be printed until 19. When it becomes 20, the do while loop becomes failed, and it will exit the do while loop and return 0 value and end the program. That's all about statements. Thanks guys, thanks for watching this video. Please like and subscribe this video. Please watch next video to know about functions in C. Thank you.